Hi. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. I'm off this week, so I'm feeling really good. Feeling real good. Definitely much needed. It's been a tough conferences. I had conferences last week. I couldn't tell you. I mean, most of the conferences are pretty good. But I had one parent literally scream at me and said the reason why her daughter is not doing her homework because of me. It's my fault. Okay, cool, no problem. And then I had another parent say that, my son turned in his work. I really don't agree with you. You are wrong. Little did this fucking lady know that these grades, they're sixth graders. So these grades are like imaginative, right? They don't really mean fucking shit. You think a college is going to look at your son's grades and go, you know what? He failed sixth grade. No, can't get into USC. Can't do it. It doesn't make fucking sense. So what did I do for this mom? I literally changed the grades for him. I gave him B's because if I messed up, I messed up, which I know I didn't because I double checked on what the assignments that he turned in and he didn't do shit. But I still hooked him up because I didn't want to deal with another screaming parent at me. And mom still wasn't very happy with me. This distance learning, guys. If you have kids that are dealing with the distance learning, please don't yell at the teachers. We get it. We understand. Anyways, fuck work for a week. Last night, you guys watched that Raider and Chiefs game? That game was good. I hate to say it, and I know this sounds kind of biased, I'm a Raider fan, but the Raiders look better, don't they? I mean, the defense is still a mess, but we got a lot of young secondary that are just getting better. Obviously, I don't think the Raiders are Super Bowl bound this year. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's going to be really nice to see that, they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're a pretty good team. But Chiefs are on a whole nother level. Patrick Mahomes is clearly the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. Clearly. I mean, he scored a game-winning touchdown in less than 2 minutes? Like a minute, 30 seconds left. He scored a game-winning touchdown. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, good-ass game. Didn't really win any money. It didn't really have a lot of Kelsey. I mean, he got fucking lucky at the end. And then I see all these people like, oh, thank you, Kelsey. You want me $100,000. Fuck you. Anyways. All right, so we got a game tonight. We got a pretty good game. We got the Los Angeles Rams versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are in Tampa Bay. Before I get started, I clearly always think about this and, take it as a grain of salt. But I think it's something that you guys should definitely think about as you're building. Jared Goff on the road seems to be a problem. I mean, he still, does okay. But we're talking about a team who's traveling from Los Angeles across the United States to play in Tampa Bay. And we're talking about a quarterback who tends to struggle more on the road than he does at home. And now Jared Goff is going against one of the best defenses in football. So I'm a little bit worried about the Rams offense tonight. But it doesn't mean that I'm not on a few of the guys. I think that things could change. Things are possible. Jared Goff could easily just fly across the United States and act like, he's playing back in Los Angeles. We don't know, though. So we're going to talk about the plays that I do like in the Rams. I still think there are some plays that we could definitely make some money off of. But I just want to give you guys that, that's my mindset as of now. I'm a little bit worried about Goff playing Tampa Bay on the road. So that's just me. But anyways. We have the Rams who are coming in at 21.75, and we have Tampa whose favorite's 26.25. It's closer than I expected. I almost feel like, with my mindset right now that I would probably take the under on this game. I think I think people are not really giving Tampa Bay the credit that they deserve with their defense. Their defense is stout. It is elite. I would not be shocked if Brady wins another Super Bowl this year. They clearly have the defense. They clearly have the offensive weapons. So it's going to be a struggle bus today. But anyways, we're going to talk about – so I decided to change my stream up a little bit. Instead of just going team by team, I'm going to go position by position. So obviously I'm going to talk about running backs first. I'll talk about the Rams, and then I'll talk about the Buccaneers, and then we'll go wide receivers, so on and so forth. For some reason, I feel like that might be easier to kind of grasp, to kind of understand if we go by position. So we're going to do that. So the first team I'm going to talk about is the Los Angeles Rams. Right now we have Los Angeles Rams who are literally it's a 3 split back. I mean, we have 3 running backs who are getting at least more than 5 carries a game. It seems that Henderson has kind of lost his job, which is, sad because he's not awful. Last week he got less than 10 touches, 33% of the snaps. And, he's 5,800, which, still pretty cheap. And I'm just a little bit worried about the volume. And this matchup is fucking atrocious. The Tampa Bay Bucks are second in DVOA versus the run and first in yards per carry. So you literally don't run on the Buccaneers. You can't. They are stout. They are elite. They know how to stop the run. They've done it all year. And I really think that the Rams are going to struggle today trying to get anything going on the ground, which is going to cause a lot of problems for Jared Goff because he's going to have to throw often. But these guys are cheap. Darrell Henderson is 5,800. Again, less than 10 carries last week. 33%. I'm not really sure what they're doing with him. But at 5,800, I think he's fine for like GPPs, but I just don't see me in cash. Don't do it in cash. The volume is very inconsistent. You're pretty much banking on a touchdown. And I don't know if he can get that today. What I did today also is I went to Bovada and I kind of checked out the anytime touchdown odds. I found that to be productive for me as I was building. And Vegas has Henderson at a plus 125 to score a touchdown at any time. So that's a good odd. If you're kind of like going off those types of things, which I tend to do sometimes, I think that's a good odd to kind of think about when you're building your GPP lineups. Again, I really don't see myself going there in cash at all. The matchup sucks. The volume's not there. He's not really free. So GPP only for me. Honestly, I'll probably have a small percentage, if any. So that's how I think about Henderson. Just kind of like I don't know what to do situation. We really don't know what the Rams are doing. So the next guy I'll talk about is Malcolm Brown. He's 5,400. Last week he had 41% of the snaps. He had 8 touches. But the thing that makes him stand out for me over Henderson is that he gets work in the passing game. I mean, not a huge amount of targets, which is 2+ targets a game. Obviously depending on the scenario of the game, if they're down by a lot of points, so they're really trying to come back, we can see those targets go up. I mean, we could easily see 4 to 5 targets for Malcolm Brown. And at 5,400, I'm really into that. I think he would be an excellent stacking option with Jared Goff. You could definitely stack him with Jared Goff if you wanted to go the route that the Rams are going to be playing from behind, just like Vegas is thinking. So at 5,400 and Malcolm Brown, I like him because he's cheaper than Henderson, and I also like him because he does get some work in the passing game. So I do like Malcolm Brown to a point. Cam Akers, 2,800. Last week he had 26% of the snaps, and he had 10 carries. Eventually, Cam Akers is going to take over, right? I mean, they drafted this guy to be the starting running back. They drafted this kid to, take over the running game. Unfortunately, he has not gotten there this year so far, and the Rams are kind of just playing around with it. Is it possible at some point before the end of the year, we finally find out Cam Akers is the guy they want? He'll get, 15+ carries a game. It's possible. I struggle to see him getting that amount of carries tonight against his defense. But at 2,800, I don't hate it. Again, the only problem that I have 2 problems with Cam Akers regardless of the price. Number one, matchup is shit. It's not a good matchup. Rams are going to struggle against this defense when it comes to the run game. They are going to struggle. But Cam Akers is cheap. Things always happen. Cam Akers right now, according to Vegas, is plus 450 to score any touchdown. So that to me is kind of like, meh. If you're running multiple MME lineups, if you're MMEing today, if you're playing a lot, obviously have some exposure to Cam Akers because he is cheap. But again, I really struggle to get there with him regardless of the price due to the matchup and due to the fact that he just doesn't get work in the passing game. So overall, I think the running backs for the Rams are really hard to guess. If I had to choose the best one, in my opinion, would be Malcolm Brown because of the work he gets in the passing game. But then I would probably run with Henderson second because, obviously he gets some red zone targets. He gets some red zone carries. He could easily get there, and Vegas seems to like him pretty much to score today. But again, this whole situation is a shit show. All of them are getting 8+ carries a game. It's really hard to guess. So I would strictly stick to MME only with the Rams running backs. But again, I would choose Malcolm Brown, and then I would go Henderson. Then Akers would just be, whatever. So, the Rams. Running back's going to have a problem today. That's all right, though. We're going to get some Malcolm Brown in our lineups, and we're going to be okay. All right, let's talk about the Buccaneers running backs. First of all, the Rams are 19th in DVOA and 3rd in yards per carry. Not the greatest matchup either. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back situation seems like a mess, but I feel like I got a good grasp on what they're doing. So, number one, last week we saw Ronald Jones literally fucking go off. I think he ran like a 99-yard touchdown. That was the greatest thing I've seen all year so far, to be honest. And he ended up getting 24 touches last week. And the reason why is because they were smashing. They were smashing on the Panthers. Whatever. So Fournette really wasn't getting a lot of action. Now, Leonard Fournette, he's cheap, $4,400. But it does seem like with Fournette that they are using him more often in the passing game, and they're using him more often when they are playing from behind. That's the vibe I'm getting from this whole running back situation. To kind of make more sense about it, I wrote down the weeks that Fournette's gone, and we have week 7, he had 11 carries for 6 targets. Week 8, he had 15 carries for 3 targets. Week 9, he had 1 carry, 6 targets. Week 10, he had 8 carries, 3 targets. So his volume seems to be dipping, right? So 2 things that come to my mind. Number 1, Tampa Bay finally realized that Ronald Jones is actually good at fucking football. He's a good running back. Number 2, it's a purely game script situation. The Tampa Bay Bucs have been really good. They've been smashing on teams. They've been ahead most games. So Fournette really wasn't getting all the looks. But what makes Fournette a great play to me, regardless of that, is the fact that he gets targets in the passing game. We're talking about someone who's getting 6+ targets a game, and he's a running back, and he's really cheap. So, again, if I had to choose a running back, if I had to choose one to be like safer, which I would probably lean more toward cash, I guess you could say, I think Ronald Jones has the best bet to get there because I purely think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be winning most of the game. I mean, that's what I would think. But if you totally disagree with me, if you think that this game's going to be close, the Rams are going to be handling the run, which they definitely can. They have a great run defense. I think Fournette is perfect in that spot. I think you're going to see Tom Brady doing a lot of dump passes, and Fournette could easily get there on DK and the PPR standards. So I like both running backs. I do think it's kind of a mess still. But I think when you build your lineups, you kind of need to base it off what you're thinking, how the game would go. If you believe that the game's going to stay close and they're going to be scoring back and forth, then I definitely would go Fournette because of the work that he gets in the passing game. If you believe that the Tampa Bay Bucs should easily just run and just smash on the Rams, which is quite possible, I would definitely go Ronald Jones. I think Ronald Jones is the safer bet, even though he is more expensive. But I still think he's the safest way to get there. So running back situation again for in this game is still a mess. But I think the Tampa Bay Bucs is a little bit easier to digest and to understand. So I would probably go Ronald Jones first, obviously as my safest. But I still like Fournette in certain situations. And he's fairly cheap. So I would lean more towards Tampa Bay running backs rather than the Rams, just based on what we know. All right? All right. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and lock me on the side. I'll definitely answer you. If you want to talk shit, talk shit. I don't give a fuck. Let's just talk. All right. So now we're going to talk about wide receivers. We're going to talk about the Rams first. The Buccaneers are 15th in DVOA and 19th in yards allowed per pass. Rams are pretty good on defense as well. Jalen Ramsey has been elite. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the wrong team. The Buccaneers. Buccaneers have been solid. One of the best pass defenses in the league, in my opinion. But we need the Rams to score some points today. I mean, they're going to score some points today, so we have plenty of offensive players to talk about. So we're going to talk about Cooper Kupp, who is hands down my favorite Rams play today. I do know that he's 9,200. I do know that he's been pretty inconsistent. And I do know that Robert Woods has scored more fantasy points this year than Cooper Kupp. Now, the reason why I still like Cooper Kupp is because you can beat the Bucs in the slot. He has a great matchup. I think that his floor is worrisome, but his ceiling is through the roof. And I firmly believe that Robert Woods is going to be held down today. I think he's going to be on the struggle bus. I mean, I could see, obviously we're going to see some volume for Robert Woods today, but I would rather have Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to score today. That's my guy. That is my guy. He's my favorite Rams play today. Vegas has him at 150 to score a touchdown today, and honestly, I'm all over that. I'm all over that. If Jared Goff is going to do any type of damage today, he's going to have to feed Cooper Kupp, and I think Cooper Kupp could easily have his ceiling game today. I love Cooper Kupp. I would rather have him than any other Rams wide receiver. Cooper Kupp is my guy. My guy. All right, let's talk about Robert Woods. I already talked about a little bit why I like Cooper Kupp over Robert Woods. Robert Woods, again, he's cheaper, which is great, 8,200. He scored more fantasy points. He scored more touchdowns. I get it. I know it. I get what you're saying. And Vegas has it at 150 to score a touchdown. Here's the thing. Robert Woods is going against a rookie Carlton Davis, who has been stout, like literally stout. He has been awesome on defense. He's been shut down wide receivers left and right. And I think Robert Woods is really going to struggle today against Carlton Davis. I still think that we're going to see plenty of volume to Robert Woods. I think we could easily see 4 targets, 5 targets, especially if they're playing from behind. But I would still prefer to have Cooper Kupp over Robert Woods. That's just how I am. So if you're doing MME and you're kind of get your ownership, I definitely would boost my ownership for Cooper Kupp. But, have a little bit of Robert Woods. Could things happen, right? So yeah, Robert Woods is fine. Still really tough matchup. Would lean more to GPP. Definitely wouldn't touch him in cash. Would not touch him in cash. So that's Robert Woods. The next wide receiver to talk about, which I've heard a lot of chatter about already, is Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds' price has finally gotten to where he needs to get. He's 6,800. He looked great the last couple of weeks, but we're also talking about, Josh Reynolds playing on a team that was dealing with the banged up Cooper Kupp. Tyler Higbee was out for a game, I believe, so his targets went up. I'm not saying that Josh Reynolds is not a good play. I'm not saying he's a bad play, but his price is a little pricey. And I think his ownership might be a little bit higher than I really want it to be. But the reason why I still think Josh Reynolds is fine is because I think a lot of people are going to go Robert Woods. And if you firmly believe, like me, that Robert Woods is going to be on the struggle bus today, I know he has. Oh, absolutely. If you think that Robert Woods is going to be on the struggle bus today, I think Josh Reynolds is easily going to get the volume again. He's going to need a lot of volume today to get to that price. I mean, he's 6,800. He's a little bit expensive. So we need a touchdown, and we need those targets that he's been getting weekly. I think he's been getting around his average 8+ targets the last 3 games. So, Jared's feeling a little bit comfortable with him. So, honestly, I see myself doing this today in GPPs. I'll have a lot of Jared Goff stacks, and I'm definitely going to have a lot of Cooper Kupp, and I'm going to have a lot of Josh Reynolds, and I'm going to have Goff. Those would be my main 3 that I'll stack with. And definitely, Tampa Bay definitely will blitz a lot. Jared Goff fucking sucks against the blitz. He can't handle it. He doesn't know what to do. He freaks out. He just, right? So that tells me a lot that Cooper Kupp's going to get fed in the slot. And that tells me a lot that Josh Reynolds on the short slants are going to look great. So I do like Josh Reynolds, and I really, 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 really like Cooper Kupp. And then Robert Woods would be my 3rd wide receiver. I do know that some people were going to disagree with the Woods and Reynolds situation, but I am going to go way under on Woods, way under. So, yeah, that's the wide receivers for the Rams. Wide receivers for the Buccaneers. Now, the Rams are 19th in DVOA and 3rd in yards per pass. They're pretty good, too. And don't forget they got Jalen Ramsey, who's been elite. He looks fucking good, doesn't he? Doesn't Jalen Ramsey look like a stud this year? I mean, he's always been really good, but he's had his year before he went to the Rams that he was just, not giving a shit. Everyone was doing everything to him. He just wasn't handling anything. Jalen Ramsey is a stud. And what does that mean? He's going to cover a lot of Mike Evans. It seems like every week that we have a primetime game or a Thursday night game with Mike Evans, I'm always wanting to go under. I remember the week where I went really under and everything was looking great. Everything was looking amazing. And then Mike Evans caught that 8-yard touchdown and fucked me, right? And then all these people come out and say oh, you didn't play Mike Evans. You're an idiot. No, you got lucky. Pretty much. You got lucky. You're a fish. You got lucky. And I don't really give a fuck. Mike Evans got lucky that week. And I am going to go under on him again this week. Evans has been fed 7+ targets the last 3 games and has scored 2 touchdowns during that span. So he is getting fed. I get it. But today he's going to have one of the toughest matchups that he's seen in a while against Jalen Ramsey. And the last touchdown that Jalen Ramsey has allowed was against SF, week 6 against Deebo Samuel, and that was a coverage that collapsed. So Jalen Ramsey is a fucking stud, and I think he can manhandle Mike Evans. I think they're gonna go at it all day. I'm gonna go under. I definitely will have some exposure because I think that Jalen Ramsey may not shadow today. Because I think they're gonna really need him to guard Antonio Brown too. So it's always possible that Mike Evans can get there, but at 9,000, we're really gonna need the volume. We're definitely gonna need a touchdown, especially in GPPs. With that being said, I'm almost leaning towards not even playing Evans in cash. I just don't think you need to go there. I don't think you need to go there. Mike Evans would be a GPP play for me only. And if he fucks me again, then I can wait for all you fish to tweet me on Twitter and tell me that I'm an idiot for fading him and try to talk shit, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't even fucking matter to me. But I don't think Mike Evans gets there today. I think he will get plenty of volume, but I don't think he's optimal. Let's just say that. The number 2 wide receiver we'll talk about. Oh, also, and Mike Evans is plus 125 to score by Vegas. Obvious, we get that. He's a big name. He's a great wide receiver. But I'm not going to go there. I'll be way under. The second wide receiver we'll talk about is Antonio Brown. He's 7,800. Bovada didn't have any touchdown odds on him, so I don't really know. But he has a great matchup. He's in a great spot. We're talking about Mike Evans being shadowed by Ramsey. But I do think that, if AB starts eating, Ramsey might move over a little bit and start guarding AB. But it's obvious. It's obvious that Brady loves AB. It's obvious. I know they live together. I know they're probably talking plays. I know they're hanging out. I know Tom Brady's probably giving him all the love that he wants, and touching his booty and doing all this gay stuff. But AB's good, guys. As much as the clown that he is, as much as I despise AB, the guy is good at football and he knows how to play. He's a freak athlete. He's just good. The first 2 games that he's been with them, with Tampa Bay, week 9, he had 5 targets. In week 8, week 10, he had 8 targets. So Brady is feeding this man. Yeah, he isn't, bro. He's good. AB is so good. I freaking hate him. But again, we got to think about this guy's got to be bipolar. He's got to have some mental issues. And, as much as the world hates this man, I feel like he just needed some help. I think he just needs some help. But I see AB smashing tonight. I do. I think we're going to see 6+ targets. I think we're going to see over 60 yards, maybe 80. And I think he scores his first touchdown tonight as a Buccaneer. I love AB tonight. I love him. I think he's really good spot, really cheap too for 7,800. Remember when AB played for Pittsburgh? We would never, ever, ever, ever see him that cheap, ever. And now he's 7,800. He's the same guy, guys, same player. So I love AB. I think he's in a smash spot. I definitely have more AB than I have Mike Evans, that's for sure. Okay, now the next wide receiver who I like more than anyone on the Tampa Bay Bucks, Chris Godwin. He's 8,400. He's plus 135 odds to score a touchdown. Even with AB part of the plans, Godwin is still getting targeted. He has 12 targets total the last 2 games. But the only problem is that he only has 2 touchdowns the whole season. So that's the only drawback that I have with Godwin. The targets are there. The volume is there. So he has a safe floor. But the touchdowns are not there yet. So that's why I think Mike Evans is still in play, because he does get fed in the red zone, which, as I talked about that week, I totally went under the field and he scored a touchdown, ends up in optimal. Even though the matchup was brutal, same thing can happen today with Evans. But I think Godwin is in a great spot. If we're going to see Ramsey on Evans and we're going to see Ramsey possibly getting a little bit of AB, we're going to leave Godwin just wide, right? We're going to leave Godwin the open field. I love Chris Godwin today. He's literally my top 2 play with Cooper Kupp. I will have a lot. I will run a lot of Brady stacks with Godwin and AB. I'll probably run some Brady stacks with Godwin and Gronk, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I love Chris Godwin today. So, in my opinion, if I was building MME, I would be heavy on Godwin, heavy on AB. Then I would go under the field on Mike Evans, even though a touchdown is definitely a possibility. But even if he scores a touchdown, is he going to be optimal at that price with just a touchdown and maybe 50 yards? I don't know. We're going to need this game to stay pretty close, and we're going to need the offenses on both sides, to go back and forth. So if I had to choose my wide receivers in order for Tampa Bay, I would easily go Chris Godwin, AB, Mike Evans. That's how I'm looking at it. So let's move on. All right, we're going to talk about tight ends now. We're going to talk about the Rams tight ends. Tampa Bay has allowed 13 fantasy points on the season to tight ends. So, it's like an average, I guess you could say. So you can definitely attack in the middle of the field against Tampa. You could definitely attack there. I think a lot of people are ignoring that. But I do like Tyler Higbee to an extent. He is 4,800. He's coming off a 6-target game versus Seattle. And he's heading back home to his hometown. So he's going back home. So we know he's probably been hanging out with families. He'll probably do what he has to do. Definitely not following COVID stuff, but who cares, right? I mean, nobody cares anymore, it seems. He's a plus 275 to score a touchdown. I do have some problems with the price. 4,800. He's getting minimal volume. He's just not getting fed that often. He hasn't scored 10+ DK points since week 2. And that's kind of scary. I mean, I think he's a fine floor play. I think he'll definitely get volume. So I think if you were at a 5,000 or lower level and you definitely don't want to deal with the running backs, I think he's fine for cash. I think he's going to get the volume for sure. But I worry about his ceiling. So when I think about GPPs, I probably will have a very small amount. Very small. He's going to need a touchdown. He's going to need at least 4 to 5 targets. If he gets us a touchdown with 4 targets, we're talking optimal. So, again, I think GPP is small percentage, but I think he's fine for cash. I think he has a safe floor. Yeah, dude, Tampa Bay is going to just my buddy's a diehard Rams fan, and I know he's watching. Okay, let's talk about Gerald Everett. 2,600. Very inconsistent, but he has scored 10+ DK points the last 2 out of the last 5 games. So he can get there. He can get there at 2,800. He's still getting volume, but it's still very inconsistent volume. But again, if you're trying to decide, do I like Higbee or do I like Everett the most, I probably would go Everett just because he's cheaper and he can score touchdowns. But I think Higbee's still fine for cash. I think Everett, for me, honestly, I will probably lean more GPP just because he's so inconsistent. And I think his floor isn't as safe as Higbee's. So I would definitely lean Everett in GPPs. If you needed someone really, 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 really cheap for cash, I guess you could go Everett, which is fine. But I definitely would lean more GPPs with Everett. All right, let's talk about the tight ends for the Buccaneers now. The Rams have given up 13.4. The Rams have allowed 13.4 fantasy points to tight ends on the season. I'm not talking the whole season, but consistently. So the first tight end I want to talk about is Rob Gronkowski. This guy's a stud too, man. The guy comes into the NFL from last year just, doing smoke commercials, getting high as shit, just drinking, hanging out with blonde bitches, just living the life, right? Just living the life. Tom Brady called him up, hey, let's win a Super Bowl real quick. So Gronk's on his way to do that. Gronk's matchup isn't bad at all. I really like Gronk today. He is expensive. He's 6,200, and he's not getting a lot of volume. But here's the thing, guys. He's literally a red zone, Brady's favorite red zone target. Out of the last 5 games, Gronk has scored 4 touchdowns, 1 in each game. So, is he 6,200? Yes. Is he getting a lot of volume? Is he probably going to score a touchdown? I mean, the numbers are showing that. I like Gronk. Love Gronk today. I'll have definitely. That's why I said Brady, Gronk, AB, Brady, Gronk. Godwin, I think those are totally fine. I love Gronk today. I think he could easily get there. Love him. Again, and then we got Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate always seems to score those random touchdowns at any random point. Excuse me, Cat. But regardless, the volume is super inconsistent. He had 3 catches or 3 targets and a touchdown last week, which is fine. He definitely got there. But again, I think he's just more of a MME dart throw. Don't force him in type of play. So tight ends, I definitely would go Everett over Higbee. Still like Higbee a little bit. I love Gronk the most. Definitely will be heavy on him as well. And I think Brate is just nothing more than a dart throw. So, all right. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my cash plays and my GPP plays. So cash, this should be like a normal thing, guys. A normal thing. Kickers, both QBs, are definitely like part of cash lineups every game. Kickers, QBs, I'm telling you, make it happen. Today, I think Kupp is a perfect cash play. I think Ronald Jones, I love Godwin, I love AB, and I even think Everett is fine, like I had mentioned. And honestly, I was testing some theories yesterday with my cash and trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to handle this? I think kickers in the captain spot are really not stupid. It's not. Especially if you think, like, for example, the Rams are going to probably struggle on offense, so there can be a lot of kicks, I would think. So I think a Rams kicker wouldn't be awful. And I even, if you want to go the Bucs side, I think that's fine too. I think kickers and captain spots are definitely okay. But it seems like most people lean towards QBs because it's the safest volume, which you can do that too. So I think Brady would be my number one choice, obviously. I don't think I would go Goff in my captain spot unless it was necessary, but no, I probably wouldn't do that. So again, kickers, QBs, Kupp, Ronald Jones, Godwin, AB, Everett, all fine cash plays, all of them. Tournament, Godwin, Jones, Woods, Gronk, both QBs, Josh Reynolds, any of the Rams running backs. Remember, I said I like Malcolm Brown the best, and I think Henderson has the best odds of scoring a touchdown, just a little more expensive. And I think Akers would be just nothing more than an MME punt. And then the same thing for the Bucs. Ronald Jones, I think clearly is the guy today, unless the Rams, get ahead by a lot. We're going to see a lot of Leonard Fournette. But I think I would lean more Ronald Jones than anything. But yeah, so, just keep in mind, guys, that the Bucs are good. Keep that in mind. Their defense is stout. Rams have a good defense too. Jalen Ramsey is no scrub. I think this game is going to be neck and neck. I think I'm going to take the under, but I still think it's going to be really close. I think this game is going to be really close. We're talking about 2 solid defenses going against each other. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at tonight. So other than that, if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to me on Twitter. It's Vigo07. Brady last Monday night, I feel it, bro. I feel like we had this conversation too. We talked about some of the fucking throws he made were just like, dude, I thought you were – it's possible. It's absolutely possible. But I kind of give Brady the leverage on this, or the, more credit, because he is at home. And I love playing, QBs at home, especially their favorites, right? So it's possible. It's definitely possible. But then again, people could think like you're thinking right now and think, oh, maybe Brady's lost it, right? I don't know. But I'm going to have a lot of Brady. I'm going to have a lot of Kupp. I'm going to have a lot of Godwin. I'm going to have a lot of Gronk, for sure. Yeah, so again, if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to me. My Twitter is Vigo07. If you are in the Slack, if you are part of the DFS headquarters, please ask me any questions, anything you want, any stat, whatever you need, I'm there for you. Other than that, let's make some money tonight, guys. Let's make up for yesterday. I know yesterday was a shit show again. Taysom Hill, nobody played him. I'm shocked. But anyways, good luck tonight. If you need anything, let me know. Other than that, see you guys later.